Hello everyone, this is Martin. Bruno and I have been doing a study on features of Corpora. So today we're going to do a brief introduction about Corpora. We're going to see what a corpus looks like, how it functions, and what can we do and learn from it. So first of all, let's get to know what are corpora. Sometimes you see the word corpora, and sometimes you see corpus, corpus. Actually, these two words mean the same. The difference is that corpora is the plural form of corpus. This word comes from Latin, and as we can see, it looks very similar to the word corpo in Portuguese. And in fact, corpus has also the meaning of body. But today we use this word more in linguistic view. According to Professor Tagnan from the University of São Paulo, corpora can be defined as a collection of digitized text compiled according to certain criteria considered to be representative of a language or of the part one intends to study. Simply speaking, a corpus is a database of text of a language.
Hello, it's Bruno here, and we're going to talk about what can we do with Corpora. The basic things we can do with it are observe authentic occurrences of language in various contexts and compare the results so we can infer meaning of words and expressions. Here I have an example, a simple one. I just search for the word talk. This is the basic search you can do in a corpus, and it show all the occurrences that they have for this word. In the line, you can identify some grammatical and lexical patterns. And if you see in the horizontal, you can see different meanings that this word can have. This is the basic thing that Corpus does. Now we're going to talk about the features of Corpora. Let me just put in full screen. So the features of Corpora are a vast amount of sources, examples clearly showed, and a search engine that can do things such as find single words and all forms that a word can have, create chart in which we can observe the frequency of a word in the different sections of the corpus, see which words occur near other words, compare two words in their collocates so you can see how they differ in meaning, and see the patterns in which a word occur. Next, you see examples of all of these features of Corpora.
At this point, let's get started to see how to use a corpus. I happened to read an English article recently about translation studies, and I found some unfamiliar words. So I wanted to use the chance to try on a corpus to see how a corpus works. So here is the sentence. In his seminal article, The Name and Nature of Translation Studies, James Holmes argued for the adoption of translation studies as the standard term for the discipline as a whole, and other scholars have since followed suit. Well, I actually wanted to know the frequency of this expression because it was my first time to see the expression follow suit. So I already typed follow suit. I use capital letters because it will show the results of all the forms that follow. So let's go. So here shows the frequency of the phrase follow suit. We can see that the expression follow suit is more used in written English, these four types, than in spoken English. Well, since it's the first time I see the expression, I wonder if anyone says follow the suit too. So again, I typed follow the suit. Well, we can see that no one ever used the phrase follow the suit. And actually, if you Google it, the expression doesn't exist either. Therefore, we should not say follow the suit. Now let's go to the second example, original sentence. For example, theories of human as opposed to machine translation, or written translation as opposed to oral interpreting. Well, I didn't find an explanation of as opposed to in the dictionary. I just wonder whether it's a random combination with as or as opposed to can be used itself. So I type as opposed to in the corpus. And as we click this, we'll see the examples. After we do a careful study of these sentences, we can see that in most texts, the components before and after as opposed to are similar in grammatical structure and contrast in meaning, as showed in these blue sentences. We can draw from these examples a conclusion that as opposed to has a similar meaning to but not, rather than, or instead of. At this time we drop directly from the second example to the sixth example because time is limited. If you want to see all our examples, you can download our slide. The original sentence here is, similarly the threat of fragmentation sometimes looms high in a kind of literature which deliberately sets different theoretical approaches or research programs in opposition. I looked up the verb loom in the dictionary, which says that it means to appear in an impressively great or exaggerated form. But I wanted to know more. I wonder if the verb loom is often combined with subjects like threat, or is it often followed by adjectives or adverbs like high? So let's turn to a corpus. This time I'll show you a different corpus because the website here is only available to be used 50 times a day. Another corpus I'll show you has less functions but can be used as many times as you wish. So I'll type loom. Here we have about 40 examples. And we now click Word Sketch. It shows the general combination with the verb loom. We'll find threat here and threat here as frequent subjects of loom, and we also find high here as frequent adjectives with loom. As it shows, loom does frequently follow threat, in other words with a negative impression, and is often followed by large and high. Now I'll show you the word tattoo as our last example. After we type tattoo here, click see frequency by sections, and it shows that tattoo is being used more and more often along the years. What does it mean? Maybe it means that the word tattoo is becoming popular, or a thing, or tattoo itself is becoming more and more popular among people. So that's the end of our examples, and let's see the functions.
So, hello, now is Bruno here, and we're going to talk a little bit about the functions of Corpora that you might already know because of the examples that Martin gave you, but we can get a little more specific. So let's go. For language learners, Corpora is useful because from a large amount of examples of the language, we get to know the general usages of words or phrases. We can learn to use vocabulary correctly and commonly, like the native speakers do. By reading those examples, we strengthen our memory of new vocabulary at the same time. By comparing various words or phrases with similar meanings, we get to choose the better ones to make ourselves understood. And sometimes by analyzing the examples with a little guessing, we can conclude the meaning of words or phrases. Corpora is also useful for linguists because it can be inferred from corpora how the meaning of words slightly change along the history and how some of the words become more popular or old-fashioned. It helps write dictionaries.
By comparing different corpora with different sources, for example, between the corpus of American English and the corpus of British English, or between Noble English and English among folks, the linguists get to know the differences between different types or fields of English.
So for now, you might be asking yourself if you should use a corpora or a dictionary. And through our research, we get to the conclusion that for language learners, dictionary always come ahead of corpora. First, because it saves time. Turning to a dictionary is the fastest and easiest way to know the definitions and meanings. Most frequent collocations and idioms are listed in big dictionaries, such as Oxford English Dictionary. The second reason, if we couldn't find the word or phrase in the dictionary, then try out a corpus. If we want to read more examples of the word or phrase, try out a corpus. And if we're writing and we're not sure how to use a word or phrase, we can either turn to a dictionary or a corpus. Another thing that we'd like to show to you is bilingual corpora. That is another type of corpora that, as the name says, it has two languages. It can be Portuguese and English, or even more than one language. It could be multilingual, have a lot of languages, and it is very useful for translation and things like that. We're going to show an example. Example 1, I want to know which words in English are equivalent to the Portuguese word mexer. So here is Cortred, is a corpora translation from Comet project that is from FEFELESH. Here's their website. And in Cortred you can choose a field of knowledge that you want to know something about. I choose the cooking one, and I search for the word mexer. Mexer in the cooking means usually to mix things up, some ingredients. So the translation usually is stirring, as we can see in these examples. But we can also find mexer as move, because in this is literally to move the piece of meat in the pan. It's not like mix with anything, it's just move the one piece. Even sometimes mexer is not used, like in this one, sem parar de mexer. Here they don't use the stir or not even move. They don't use nothing at all. So observing the results, you can see that the word mexer is usually translated to stirring, and its meaning usually is related to mix something together. In one case, the word was not translated, that one that I showed before, and also we had the translation move, but in this case, mexer was with a different meaning than mix. Here we had our bibliography with some links that might be useful. This is from Coca, and this is for the Cortred. And thank you very much. If you have any question, I think you can ask it through Moodle. We will post the link of this video, and then if you had any questions, you can send to us. Thank you very much. Bye bye.